So, good morning and welcome to this timely session on H-1B and beyond global talent opportunities for Indian premier institutions. Right. So, I think today we all aware that the global demand for Indian talent has never been greater. There is new opportunities ranging from digital nomad visas, cross-border remote work to global startups, and then transnational academic collaborations that have been actually very, have been really reshaping the landscape of, the Indian graduate or the Indian students, right? For and Indian leading institutions are right now at a very pivotal moment as the students, place greater value on quality, affordability, access, education at home. Our challenge is then now to become and prepare graduates who are truly global from India, and and we are able to provide them with an Indian ecosystem which is ready to build individuals with international careers, studying, innovating, thriving within the system that we have here, right? So as a global talent powerhouse, I would want to understand how can institutions enable their students to seize this growing global opportunities, the universe of global opportunities, by staying in India and also by venturing abroad. So I'd like to sort of throw this question to both of you at the panel, that how do we shape these strategies in this new global era? So if I'd like Dr. Harigovindan to sort of throw some light on this, and then maybe we'll like to hear from Dr. Kaustubh.
Okay, actually, I feel that the topic of today's discussion is a relevant topic, very significant topic, that how premier institutions in India can strengthen the curricula, research and collaborations, not only to prepare the students for the highly sought after H-1B visa, but also to nurture leadership and innovation for global opportunities. So H-1B visa, when we discuss about it, more than 6,000 persons from India every year get this visa, and that is a attraction for the people who are working in want to say dream for the people to get this visa. But now we know that that H-1B visa fees hikes and the lottery-based system has decreased its reliability, and it gives another situation for the students to focus towards other countries which are having clearer routes to permanent residency, and which will meet their requirements. So, but anyway, I feel like our discussion, we no need to limit about H-1B visa, because we know that every country makes its own laws to govern its society and for the welfare of their citizens. So our strategy should not be depend on the policy of a foreign country, because that is not going to help us in long run. Okay, but at the same time, we are having a huge gap between the demand and supply. We have a surplus supply of engineers, but our present industry and ecosystem is not able to provide a job opportunity for all those students, all those engineering graduates. So obviously they have to find out other options in abroad. So that also we have to take into account. But at the same time, improving the innovation, leadership and startup and that industry ecosystem in our country should be of our major focus. So when students are working towards those directions, I suggest that students should focus on developing a strong portfolio, because they have to enhance their skills through internships, projects and research publications, which is not a difficult thing as far as the premier institutions are concerned, because almost all faculties will be actively involved in research. And I can tell that the situation will be different in when you go to conventional colleges and especially private affiliation type engineering colleges. When you go, their primary focus is on teaching. So the active research is lagging behind. So, but that is not the situation with the premier institutes. All faculties are having, almost all faculties are active in research and they are having funded projects. So obviously students can use this opportunity to build a strong portfolio. And higher studies, students should focus on the higher studies like PhD, masters, everything, which will give them a better opportunities in India as well as in abroad. And another focus should be on acquiring the required skills to survive in the global market. And focus also should be on the fast growing sectors like artificial intelligence, data science, renewable energy. So these areas where we have a lot of opportunities coming, that should be of the major focus by the students. And in this discussion, I think we will discuss about how educational institutions can support students to achieve these strategic goals.
Absolutely. Very rightly said, sir, that we have to support students to doing, and giving them that that platform to sort of springboard from. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Pilli Emmanuel Shubhakar. He's also Dean Academic Affairs and Dean Faculty, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Kota. Very good morning and welcome to the session, sir. We were just discussing yeah. And sir was mentioning, about it. I think we'll head to Costa and then get you into this conversation, wherein it's a very timely topic that looking at global talent opportunities for the Indian premier institution students, right? So over to you, Costa. It's just your thoughts, and then we can sort of blend in.
Of course, and it's a like a topic I'm very passionate about. Like I mean, higher ed and like all these different dynamics that come into picture with that. It's not easy. We are dealing with different geographies, different governments. Of course, like what Dr. Harigovindan said. To they have a right to have policies that work for their citizens, but like he had also like pointed out, it's a demand and supply thing. They do have a demand for international workforce. We do have a very good skilled set of students who can satisfy that. Now and I want to also quickly dovetail something that Geetika had said about the affordability, right? So from some of my experiences, I also having being in education and also as a business owner and everything, we also need to start looking at the ROI on this. There has to be that return on investment factor. They need to have certain level of risk-taking capability over here at this point now, just because of how uncertain things are. Earlier, spending 100K, that's in USD on a master's might have been justified because there was a pathway at that point to get a job that you can recover some of that initial cost. There used to be plenty of scholarships, TAs, RAs, which over the years have been going down as the student body grew, the international student body grew. All those funding, they had to be distributed across a bunch of students. So earlier probably 10-20 students were going, and at that point you see that yeah, sure, you have some TA opportunity, you have some RA opportunity that kind of supplements the students ability to pay their tuition fee in USD. But now if you take a look at R1 Institute, their graduate programs like the masters and a PhD and all, they are largely filled with students from India and China, right? So when they have an intake capacity of 250 into computer science, and they have also become pretty smarter with this, right? They don't offer just computer science now or electrical engineering, these core things. They will have masters in AI or something, some courses from CS, few from AI. So they're also trying to increase the capacity, because what ends up happening is that when their students get into the education system, they typically get a student loan from the federal government, right? So the university may or may not ever see that money in hand, okay? But when our students end up enrolling in the US universities, what they end up doing is that either like their parents are funding the education, or they have some scholarship, or quite often they're also taking education loans here in India. They're, for all means and purposes, when they take that check, or the DD, and they take it to a foreign university, they are handing over very valuable cash to that university that the university can use as it sees fit, right? Very different from their local student body taking loans from the federal government over there or something, where they like they might get some kind of like a tax break or something. So of course like they're very interested in like taking our students because of that. But like we have to be a little mature over here, and like even the students have to like see like, does it make sense for them? Does it make sense to get that master's maybe in India, or like have some kind of like a degree from a foreign university here in India? There are many different pathways now for them to like choose. Many of those universities have campuses now here in India, like we have in Gift City from Dakin, I believe, and University of Wollongong, just to name a few. I think several US universities are now going to set up their shop here in India, so they can get the same education, but they might even like find career opportunities, right? Which brings me to the second part. Now, if these students are really interested in targeting these companies based out of California or Texas or something, headquartered there, they have two routes, right? For that H-1B. One is that like their skills are like at par, and they are able to get their resumes in, and solve all those interview questions, and all those various steps that they have, and the company files the H1 for them directly, and they go to US straight from India, right? Working over there after a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, whatever. The other one is like they end up enrolling in a US university, and like they have to get the necessary skills so that they can hit the ground running, and then they get OPT, right, for a year, which is the optional practical training. And once they do that, then there's an option to like renew it up until like 36 months, depending on how things are, right? And those 36 months is when they get into that H-1B lottery thing. They have their first, second, and third try and figure that out. So I think even through all the different uncertainties and everything, there are good pathways right now if they want to like target those jobs. And like these are all very like nice learning opportunities, in my opinion. You get exposed to all the different cultures. India, yes, is a melting pot in its own way. We have a lot of our own diversity and everything. US and other countries, they also attract talent from all over the world, so you get to interact with a lot of different people, different experiences. You can learn a lot technically and culturally. So yeah, I think it's still a good time, even through all whatever news. See, this is the news cycle, it will be replaced with something else. Like all these challenges in some way or format have been there, whatever we are seeing now. But I think the students are living through a very interesting time, so they can learn and grow a lot.
What I'm noticing is more and more Indian learners are choosing to stay back for their higher studies, and though they aspire for global exposure, but there is a shift wherein they are sort of looking at staying back and choosing to doing their higher studies and then going moving abroad for a job. So are we actually have we actually got them prepared enough? Have we given them enough exposure where they are able to go from here and move into a job scenario there? Is that something, if I can have a comment from Dr. Emmanuel on this?
Yeah, actually, if you look at the preparation at the BTech level from premier institutions is well grounded, in the sense that there is a very good exposure that is given, because the faculty members are also well qualified and also have some international exposure to a certain level of, at least if they have not studied abroad, they have traveled extensively, they would have attended some conferences abroad, and have the relatively similar experiences of professors abroad, at least at the knowledge level, because of the publications or the kind of research work that they produced. So the same thing is passed on to students in the premier institutions, and hence, if we categorize in that sense, so most of them have that kind of exposure to take on the kind of jobs that are offered immediately by taking up there. That is one option. The other level of the institutions which are actually churning out a lot of big numbers, apart from the reputed universities which come into the NIRF 100 ranking. Of course, again, there are different questions on some universities, but by and large, those who are in the top 200 ranks across NIRF ranking or the Times ranking or any other ranking which is usually done across Indian universities, the top 200 private universities have good mechanisms to ensure, because they invite a lot of professors from abroad and also from premier institutions to visit them to share, and some of the faculty who have joined them are having PhDs from these reputed universities like premier institutions like IIT, IISc, and NIT or IIIT. So in that sense, the students definitely have what is required to immediately take on a job. But as the theme that is placed before, as I wanted to just express my thoughts, is we are actually producing a workforce for the whole world except for India. So when we see this H-1B coming in, it is actually coming in as a boon for us, because if a less number of people go abroad, we will have more number of people, in fact, more number of skilled, intelligent, and talented people, I would say, who will stay back. And they will generate opportunities also, and they will consume some of the good strata of opportunities. So that way, the overall gain is for the country in that sense. Because my heart always bleeds on some aspects like this, that when I look at if I want to buy a laptop, it will take at least 1 month to be delivered. Some are ready to be purchased, but if I want a good laptop with a particular specific configuration, then I have to wait for 1 month, because it has to come from some other country. It is not available in India. If I look at an operating system which I want to install, I don't have any Indian operating system. Forget about operating system, maybe a browser. If I want to install, it is again a foreign company. Fortunately for us, the antivirus, we have an Indian company which is there called Quick Heal, which is there. Other than that, most of the things that we use, maybe a processor or a GPU if I want to use, because we work on a lot of computations being from IIIT and NIT Jaipur, where I actually am based from, and I am assisting IIIT Kota, mentoring them and handling these additional responsibilities for them. I am in pain, because anything that we see is actually coming from other countries. So when will we be able to produce that kind of thing? And really, the Make in India sometimes I feel is very positive in one sense that, yeah, we are definitely pushing our industries, our workforce to make in India, not work for somebody else in India. We make a lot of things in India, that is again different, but we are making for somebody else. So we should make in India for India, to be sold by Indians. That's the thought process that we look at. So that is where some of these thought process come in, where I feel that a lot of the funding that comes or that is put into Indian universities or Indian academia or premier institutions for that matter is definitely much less than what is actually given for other universities abroad. Our Indian companies which are existing, they also don't fund many of the initiatives in the academia, which otherwise, if you see in many of the universities, there are Microsoft, Google, and a lot of them have chair professors who are heavily funded, who can contribute a lot, and then they give to the ecosystem very well. So that is 2 or 3 things that I want to bring forth. Our people are immensely talented. That's what, and more than talented also, I would say hardworking and very quick to grasp because of, I would say definitely we are at a better intelligence level. That's why I see many of the scientists abroad, many of the academia abroad, many of the people I collaborate, I see immediately, I don't see a foreigner to collaborate. I see an Indian in a foreign university to collaborate. It becomes again easy in that sense. But then still, what I see is we have the talent pool, we have the human resource. If we put in the money ourselves into our own system, we can definitely increase. So I would see this a change as an opportunity for Indian academia. But there are one or two things. One is the academia also has to rise to the occasion to take on this challenge. Secondly, government has to believe in the academia to fund them. The Indian companies who are going to majorly benefit also need to fund. So these are some challenges that I see. But pointing to your question or answering your question in one word, the engineers who are passing out are well prepared. At least I would say in the top 200 institutions, they are very much at par in the international standard, or in fact better, I would say. But if you look at master's degrees produced or PhDs produced or the publications that are produced, there is still a gap, I would say. Thank you.
So, sir, building on to what you've just said, so meaning, are we trying to say that the curriculum and the pedagogy that is, that will make these Indian degrees globally employable are already existing in the system, and we don't have to really do much to change the pedagogy and the curriculum to get them to be globally
if you
employable?
a quick answer, I would say most of the curriculums that we look at, or I have been part of many curriculum development workshops in many NITs and IIITs as well. So when I have been invited and we have looked at most of the workshops, look at a curriculum from premier institutes like IIT and IISc, IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, and IISc Bangalore, while looking at least 10 foreign universities across the world, not only US, Australia, Germany, and other major universities. And sometimes it's a specialization, something like my own area. If I look at security and forensics, something like Ireland and other places also, European countries have very good research labs which are based. So sometimes from Canada, sometimes from US as well. So we look at all these universities curriculum, what's going on, and we do that. So that's one thing that I would say. The curriculums are definitely not fully at par, but I would say we are up to 80% we match the curriculum. So that's no problem. And at the same time, we also look at for computer science part of it, we look at ACM curriculum, which is also placed, which is available for everybody. And the IEEE curriculum is also placed. These professional societies place the curriculum. So I have been following those curriculum and incorporating those contents into our syllabus. One thing that really is lacking is the concept of these minor and major electives which we offer. They are offered, but they are kind of namesake because these electives are really not many takers or not many people who can offer as well. So the syllabus is there, but there are no teachers to teach because there is a shortage of faculty, is what I would say. Maybe in computer science, in electronics, in many of these branches where there are high-end courses like AI and other things, there are very less people to teach. So by and large, it is the shortage of faculty and the skill set in the faculty that I would see as a challenge. Otherwise, the curriculums are definitely at least 90% at par.
Wouldn't an institute like yours look at a collaboration with an international, institute to get, overcome the shortage that you're just talking about? Wouldn't something like this also work in the scenario? To do something like, if you, like you said, that there are some shortages, there are no professors, but then we could also, through our, alumni network, and you, as you said, that you're also engaging with other Indian professors who are teaching abroad or who are there, can't this kind of be also elevated and brought into the system where, through a process which says that this so and so, subject, or, this minor subject or major subject could be taught by an by professor from an institute from Ireland, for for a conversation.
Yeah, we should actually customize. Presently, we have what is called the academic bank of credits, which is coming up, and slowly government is regularizing. We will put. They are also placing them in the DigiLocker. So every student has a set of credits. So whenever he passes few subjects, he has credits, and those credits are in the academic bank of credits. So it's like a bank where he can. So what he can do is he can go anywhere and get the credits and add it to his bank of credits. So it will be recognized anywhere. So slowly, if
Is
some
it
of the
actually
foreign
existing?
universities,
Yeah.
it's already
Sorry.
existing. So while we tie up with foreign universities and an Indian university invites a foreign professor and he offers a course which is predominantly online, because otherwise to invite him over, it is a cost affair, and to provide him resources to stay in the institution is a bigger challenge. So to do that takes more time and hence or effort or funding, and hence if that can be recognized as a course, then we can do that. But definitely there is a provision immediately available where MOOC courses on Coursera or NPTEL or any of these foreign universities which are offering, their courses can be incorporated into our curriculum as a MOOC course, provided the university recognizes those credits and they can be added to the academic bank of credits. So a via media solution is readily available, but again, students may want to listen to somebody. That's a mindset that we have to change. That's the challenge.
I think Dr. Costa wants to say something, may
Oh
want to
yeah,
add something.
I'm just going to add like one point to what Dr. Emmanuel has been like discussing. 100% agree with him. There are those like linkages and initiatives that are being created. I just want to like point out to another program from the government of India, GIAN. So that's GIAN. That's a global initiative for academic networks. So that like kind of like answers to what Geetika was talking about, inviting foreign faculty. So this is especially designed for getting professors from abroad to either visit India. They have like a pretty handsome stipend for teaching a short course. So those courses can be modularized. They can either be like a week long, or even if they won't have like a slightly longer one, they have pretty like generous funding for that. They can in cases where they cannot like come physically, they can also deliver these remotely. And Gyan has been pretty instrumental. Like they have like a few courses already up and running on their webpage from what I see. So that I think that's a pretty good initiative by the government of India to get these faculty like from foreign universities like have instructions. And that exactly is how we'll get our students also ready for multiple different geographies to work in them and everything, because we have to develop curriculums together, like Professor Emmanuel said, like looking at towards ACM. Same way we can look at I think ABIT as well, that gives accreditation, right? The accreditation board for engineering and technology. I think most courses and foreign universities do look for this accreditation to make sure they're teaching like industry relevant courses and things like that. So I think that's another resource that we can lean on probably. Yeah.
So you're suggesting that these accreditations should be taken on by institutes like yourselves. I mean, like the ones you're representing, they should be taken on, and then in that realm, in that direction. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying it can be one of the resource.
Okay,
Of
one of
course,
the
we
resources.
I
It is
think
there,
it's,
and it is
yeah,
so.
it is already like a consortium between like industries and things like that. So they are coming together, they are like seeing a need for a future workforce to be skilled in like blah blah blah, which probably is relevant for a few years, that will keep evolving. Just the nature of like the engineering and technology is, that's just the truth of the life, right? Like we are somewhere now, but 5 years down the lane, they're going to be needing to and I was at another event like recently organized by Economic Times in Jaipur. So even there, like we were like talking about like industry and like academia's role in like skilling all these folks who are joining the workforce, or who are already in the workforce also. And I mentioned like Dr. Emmanuel mentioned about the academic bank of like credits and things like that. So where I'm coming is like some of this responsibility also has to be from, the learner side. They have to, like seek out all these resources. These resources are in place. NPTEL is there, great, for all, doing these remote things. There are many universities now who are offering like, master's program for working professionals and things like that. But somewhere the desire has to come from the learners, that they want to keep upskilling, like they get to a point where, like their skills become obsolete or something, they get laid off, then, they have a tough time getting back into the workforce. So learning is a continuous process, they also like, need to keep, discovering these resources that are already in place. We can of course do from our end everything, we can to, make sure that our courses are industry relevant and things like that. So for that, if we have to look at ABET or, like look at ACM, IEEE, we are willing to work with all those, different stakeholders to make sure that, content is fresh.
So are we actually moving in that direction, or are we, are we just about, since these bodies do exist, are we as as professors representing your institutes, is it something that is being followed in the institute as at this point in time by you all or by the institute or by the designated people, sitting at the institute, at the head of the institute? Is that something that is being
I personally think it is happening. It is happening, as more and more, like things are getting heterogeneous, like even like, how, Dr. Harigovindan said and Dr. Emmanuel said, like the hiring practices, like we are, like now hiring folks who have been trained elsewhere. So, we have, it's a good, like mixture, I think, like we are complementing, each other in ways, like that was probably not happening. Was probably happening at the top IITs. You always had these bunch of faculty who returned, from US, or Europe or Australia, and but that is like like happening at other IIITs and other NITs as well now. So automatically they bring their learnings. Like we are like finding like ways to like work together and like combine all that knowledge and push the envelope a little bit there.
Right, but I'm also seeing a lot of things which are coming up. How we are adapting to very newer ways of for these students who are actually trying to do these global startups and all of that. There is a different dimension which they have sort of taken in the way they want to learn is also remotely. So there are multiple things which are happening in this sphere. What is it that the institute, and how is it that the institute is able to help build on and help the student with something like this? If I can have Dr. Harigovindan, express his views on this.
Yeah, actually, I would like to add to some comments given by Professor Emmanuel about the global opportunities and the so here, the premier institutes, I think we can, there is a open opportunities which we are not exploring is the offering of the joint masters and PhD programs with the foreign universities. Because anyway, we are discussing about the global opportunities and there are different actions happening in the various countries. So rather than looking for a long-term opportunity in and eventual immigration to another country, our people can explore the possibility of local possibility of short-term opportunities in the foreign countries. So which can be that opportunity can be increased by going for the joint masters and PhD programs with foreign universities. So where foreign university professors can also teach some courses maybe through online mode, or if possible they can be invited during the vacation period. They can teach some courses and go. So this joint PhD and MTech programs will open opportunities for the students in both the countries. For example, if we offer a joint program with Japan or Taiwan or any other nation, that gives an opportunity for our students to work in that nation for a shorter duration, and whether it will be leading to a long term or something, that depends on the policies of the country. And another one direction which I feel like our institutions can explore is the countries which is other than US. So there are, we can see that there is a severe human resource shortage in countries like Japan, Taiwan. They are looking for the partnership with Indian universities. So these opportunities can be explored. For those things, I also feel like having a knowledge of the languages, like the social science is also coming into languages, and social science is also coming into picture. For example, recently we observed that some companies from Taiwan is moving to India because of the political reasons with China. They consider India as a more potential collaborator. So companies are moving, but at the same time, all the top level officials of the companies are they can converse better in Mandarin language. I feel that learning those languages, that is possible as a part of the NEP curriculum now, because national education policy permits we have the flexibility to include language courses also as a part of the main curriculum. It no need to be an extra credit course. So even learning the languages of some other nations where there is a manpower shortage, which are looking for collaborators, also will enhance the opportunity for of our students in foreign countries. And another one thing that I feel regarding the a major problem that premier institutions are facing is not about the quality of the teaching or research or something, that because I feel that the quality of the teaching, the technical content in our curriculum, and how that delivery is taking place, all these things are at par with the global standards. And research also, I can tell that especially in IITs, NITs, the research publications which are coming out of the research is competent with any other global institute. Especially when we see circuit branches, we can see a lot of IEEE papers which are considered to be the topmost publications in circuit branches are coming from so many IEEE transactions are published from universities, NITs and IITs in India. So in research and quality of research, I don't feel that we are lagging behind, but in my observation, we are lagging behind in industry collaborations. There is a gap between the academia and industry. And most of the professors, I can tell that I can tell maybe over 90 to 95% of the professors working in the premier institutes are not having industry exposure. They worked, they studied BTech, MTech, PhD, and they entered into a teaching profession, and they are continuing in that teaching profession, so that industry collaboration and what is happening in the industry or what is the requirement of the industry is not known to the professors is a major challenge. I think that is to be rectified. This can be rectified by having short-term visit to the industries. Faculty should go there and understand the issues in the industry. I would like to add one of my experiences, because I did some research in AI-based water quality monitoring system as the part of a DST funded project, and my outcome filed for the invention was filed for patent, and patent is also granted for the invention, and then I tried to commercialize it. So I approached some companies who are working in the water quality monitoring systems, and I explained my invention to them. So finally what happened is they told that your idea and your invention is good, but they are facing another problem. Actual problem that is faced by them was different. So it become like I worked in a problem which is not of that relevance, and I proposed some solution to the problem because purely or based on my academic interest. So I feel these aspects are to be corrected. So for example, if a faculty was having enough industry exposure, he could have been able to go to the industry and understand what are the issues in the industry, and then formulate a research problem and then work on it. That may end up in some inventions and patents in which industry will be interested in. So These aspects I feel we have to work on, which will enhance the potential of the research, as well as the other professors also told, we are not finding proper industry contributions to research. I'm telling there is no funded research works from the industries are very limited. I feel this can be a reason. This gap is to be minimized.
So, sir, then again, I think we come back to the curriculum and the pedagogy, which is what we were talking about, and we getting the industry sort of as part of the entire curriculum needs to be maybe looked at and thought through, and maybe also look at some kind of a policy level support and the systematic support which the government could also provide to the to the institute. So, I mean, if there is of course a multifold sort of a collaboration which is an effort which is required in this is what my understanding goes. So I
Yes,
wanted to also
this
understand what
curriculum design also to be we have to take into account the views from the industry people. Obviously, almost all board of studies are having industry members also present in it, but we can identify which are the industries in which lot of opportunities are there, and identify a right person to be the part of the BOS and get the required inputs from them, and that should reflect from the curriculum design itself, because we are talking about innovation and leadership, and so this cannot be achieved in a by offering a course in innovation or leadership will not help us to achieve these things. This should be the part of every courses which we are offering in the institute, and being an outcome based education which is followed in all the premier institute nowadays, these things should come in the program outcomes. So this innovation and leadership should be the part of the program and the course outcomes, and altogether the outcome of the program. So that design should come in the curriculum.
Help in the startup innovation, and these things will also help in the mindset. Like I think Dr. Kaustubh also mentioned about mindset. So I think that will also sort of impact the mindset of the student, and the way the vision for the student as well as the community as well as the country. So I think it works in all directions. I have one question to Dr. Emmanuel is about what policy level support do you think can strengthen India's position as a global talent hub?
Policy level, first thing is the funding that comes into the institutions for and also to procure a lot of things. We recently have this Make in India, which is definitely a very important and very crucial decision that this policy should be there. But now to start off immediately, we don't have products which are ready, industries which are ready to sell products which are at world class. So, in fact, I was in the quantum mission in Bangalore. There was a conference, and I've heard some of the lectures there and some of the Nobel laureates speaking that before we make in India, we have to innovate in India. We have to start manufacturing. So before manufacturing, innovation. If we get a idea from somewhere and make in India, or we get a blueprint from somewhere and make many copies in India, it's not going to help. So to do that innovation is what is missing presently. As Dr. Harigovindan also rightly pointed out, we are reaching a certain level of excellence in the publications, which I also mentioned in my previous answer. But we have to reach a place where our research is actually addressing the need in the market. Maybe we may be addressing some societal problems of our country, but we also need to look at where industries will put their money. So industries will put their money where they will make more money. So research should what actually research is doing. If I refer to one of the quote by a prominent academician who came here, Professor Mashelkar, he told research converts money into knowledge. Research converts money into knowledge. So you give funding for research, it gives you knowledge. But actually, the knowledge that is coming out of the research should actually be converted back to money. So knowledge that is produced must actually get us money, so that that innovation is what has to be picked up. So that is one major challenge that we see, that if we are doing that level of connect for the industry, where definitely we'll be able to meet out this gap that is there. That is one major thing that I would think of as the gap that presently we look at. So once that we are able to produce that money, then there will not be any problem. And here is the support. Let us say we want Indian industries to support, but are we making things which will be able to sell? And we have a great advantage here. We are world's largest populated country. So where are the consumers? Consumers are in our country. So we need to look at what the country needs. We need to look at how to make it. But the thing is, we have to reach to that level that industry and the academia work together, and we get the funding so that we reach that world class level at things which are manufactured, and they are sold back to our own countrymen who will be willing to buy them because they are at world class. If I prepare an operating system I want to sell, nobody will buy it as long as I don't match Microsoft operating system level. So that's the gap that I would like to say.
So I think we should have changed our discussion from passing, you know, is our students, are they global ready, rather than having them global ready. I think we should move it towards saying that we need to get them back into the country and get them more than anything, is what I think I'm figuring out from this conversation and this discussion. Well, just to conclude on this very insightful discussion, I would like to sincerely thank each one of you for your valuable perspectives on the evolving global talent landscape. Also, the talent that needs to be nurtured here, the academia point, the academia industry point that was raised by both Dr. Harigovindan and Dr. Emmanuel, and the ROI perspective which was shared by Dr. Kaustubh. I think return of investment is very, very, affordability. All of those are aspects which are very, very important, for a learner, for a student these days, and in a larger sense, I think the road ahead requires us to look at continued innovation, collaboration, and forward-thinking strategies to ensure that the Indian talent remains competitive, connected worldwide, and is made in India. I think I've tried to sum this up from whatever we've had, and thank you so much for this engagement. In case there are any thoughts that you'd like to share or mention, please feel free.
Yeah, just to add
Very much for
last
having
point
us. Yeah. Yeah.
just to add the last point that I wanted to say, that the policy for the government should be to encourage things before, like the Make in India policy is very good, but then to make it more easy for the academia and industry also to imbibe. So, and then fund Indian universities appropriately. That policy change and the flexibility to collaborate with foreign universities and knowledge exchange can happen. Of course, we also are seeing foreign universities starting their campuses in India, which is again a welcome change. But then more that they don't have to come in and set up their campuses here, but then it is like we share some knowledge with them and they share some knowledge with us. That kind of working, that policy change would be a welcome change. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Yes, I think Dr. Kaustubh also wanted to say something.
Oh, just echoing. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. And I think your summary pretty much captured everything. Yeah, pretty well.
Thank you so much. It was just paucity of time. I would have loved to, this is such a topic that I think it's hit a nerve with all three of you in a different perspective. Everybody has a perspective to how they view this entire, this topic and this entire area. And it was really nice engaging with each one of you with, having your thoughts put across. And I'm sure, given another 2 hours, we would be able to still go on and debate on this and discuss on this. But just that there's paucity of time, and I understand that you're also very busy in your schedules. So with that, I think I'll take your leave, and thank you so much for being here together.